Hey, here's your heads up to this 5-minute quickie. And it's all about finding success, finding completion, successful completions of anything, and breaking it down into the most easy to follow step by step by step. Have a listen. It's a lovely little story. Hey, welcome to the Personal Development Unplugged podcast with me, Paul Clough. And this is an FMQ, a 5-minute quickie podcast, which never lasts 5 minutes. It always goes a little bit longer. But it's a chance for you and I just to muse, to think of a subject, to talk about it for a few minutes, and then spend time thinking, seeing how it would change our life if we maybe developed it a little deeper. And maybe sometimes these 5-minute quickies will go into a longer podcast where we can dive deeper and produce processes, hypnosis processes, NLP processes. Don't worry about the names. They're just processes for making our life and your life absolutely better. Getting rid of anxiety, fear, all those other hang-ups and issues that we have, and have the life we deserve and make dreams come into reality. Quicker, bigger, better than you could ever dream of. But they're the longer podcasts, and this is a 5-minute quickie where we break down the complicated into simple, because in simplicity there's genius, and that's what we do here. So if you want to just think for a little while, see what happens, see what resonates inside you, and when it does, you go change the world.
This is Personal Development Unplugged with Paul Clough.
In simplicity, there is genius.
In simplicity, there is genius.
Hey, how you doing? Here's something to think about. If you had a very wide river and you had to cross it, you knew where you wanted to go the other side. There's a definite place on the other bank of this river you're standing on the other bank of. You know exactly where you want to be. You know where it is, and you also know when you want to get there. You know everything about it. But it's a bloody great big wide river, and you haven't got a boat. And you're not quite sure whether you could paddle through it, or is there a deep spot? You're not quite sure of the flow. You know, is it flowing fast? Is there an undercurrent? Is there things below the surface that you can't see? And you can't see them because they're under the surface. And if you think about that, how would you approach that? Would you take a few steps back, take a deep breath, get all your energy together and run like bloody hell, faster and faster and faster, and try to jump? Because that's what we do. That's what we do sometimes when we're trying to solve a problem, trying to get a project underway. We've got this fantastic idea, or we know what we want. We can see it over there. That's exactly where I want to be. I know exactly when I want it. Same scenario, isn't it? But it's way over there, and we don't know what's happening in between. Not sure how to get there. And we do take a 100-mile run up at it. And sometimes we just go for it. And we get swept away. Or we come up against different things under the surface that we weren't aware of because we were looking at the far bank and not the bits in between. And effectively, everything just goes absolutely, I'm not going to swear, but it just goes all wrong. And we get demoralised. And we get demotivated. We also think, I wish I could have done it differently. But we don't ask ourselves, say it again, Cloughy, we don't ask ourselves, what can I learn from what I've just done so I can make it different in the future, make it easier in the future? Well, I'm going to tell you how to make it easier in the future right now, because there are those examples, and effectively those examples that are there to teach us, to learn from, because if you don't learn from them and you don't get taught from them, that was a waste of time even doing it, wasn't it? But here's the thing. Here's the thing. And the other thing is, if you don't learn from them, guess what will happen the next time? Yeah, the same bloody thing. But here's the thing. What would happen, though, if you just went down the bank a little bit, just downstream or upstream, just to your side, and notice there's a few stepping stones. There's some quite wide. So do you go, I'm going to jump the widest one first? That's what we've done in the past, isn't it? We've taken two bigger steps. But you find those stepping stones which are a little bit close together. Some you might even say, well, this is too close. Yeah, they're so close that you can make it easy. That first step is an easy step, and it's a step that has success printed all over it. You make that step and you feel a success, you get motivated. You get confident to take the next step, and it might be just a little bit bigger, not that really big one over there, just that little bit wider step. Because now you're getting into this and you're making sure you can get from that step to the other. You may want to find that you need something to help you. Maybe there's like a plank of wood that will stretch between the two. That plank of wood could be like other people, couldn't it? Other information that's all around you. But we didn't see on the last one because we were just focused on the end, the big picture. We weren't focused on the details. And you need, if you're going to be a success, you need both. Don't care what anybody says. Some people say, you've got to just be on the details, or just be on the big picture. Each one individually, well, you just won't get there. They serve their purpose when they are serving their purpose together. So I just want you to think of that little as a metaphor, because it is a metaphor, isn't it? It's a story. How we get from the beginning of something to the end of something. We have to know where we're going to start from. We have to know where we want to end up. It's good to have, some timing on it, when you want to be there. And then look for the smallest steps you can take. You see, when you take those small steps, and I tell you every time, you have that feeling of the wish fulfilled, because you can hold that big picture, the feeling of the big picture of having achieved it, but making sure you keep it while you take these smaller steps, which just builds in more motivation, more skills, and makes sure that we don't come a cropper. We look for the next step, but always holding that big picture in mind. And that's how to stop getting wet and making a success. And I'm going to guess that was very nearly 5 minutes. And it's just a simple thing to think about. The next time you're thinking of something you want to do, you just have to think of, well, what do I really want? Make sure you know what it is specifically. When do I want it specifically? And what are the smallest steps I can take to get there? So I can make a start right now. Where am I? So I can make a start right now. Because that's a simple way to success. Hey, have more fun than you can stand. Please share this episode. Please share the thoughts in it. See, I know it's so simple. But when we share these simple steps, we get the success. And guess what? When you do that, those steps do get bigger. Because you get more confident in what you're doing. You get more knowledge, more learning. And you're able to do it because you're getting more experienced. Fitter, as it were. Okay? It's like going to the gym. You don't go to the gym and run 20 miles, lift heaviest weights you can. No. You get a technique. You build up on small, comfortable weights until you get stronger, more confident. And then, when the need arises, you can go for it. And that's why you'll be a success. Anyway, there you go. Have more fun than you can stand. And as I say, please do share this with everyone that you know, because we want success for everyone. Hey, till the next time, my friend, it's Cluffy. Ta-da.
Warning, you are now leaving the unplugged mind of Paul Clough. It's time to fly on your own. Be brave, my friend.
Personal Development Unplugged.